Welcome to Real Estate Grad School. We coach experienced real estate agents to create and build the habits and systems that rapidly increase your income, build your team, and allow you a much greater peace of mind. I'm Rich Levin. I've been coaching experienced real estate agents for over 20 years to exceptional success. Come and learn how to prevent people from quitting deals. And I had said yesterday that there's a rash of buyers and sellers, but buyers in particular, that seem to be quitting transactions. And we talked a little bit about why, but the why isn't as important as what to do about it. So yesterday I suggested a logical strategy. Yesterday I suggested offering a buy down of the interest rate, because I picked up from the mortgage site mortgagenewsdaily.com that you could buy down the rate from 7.125 to 66125 for just over 1% of the mortgage amount. And I showed you how that can be recovered in about 30 months. So if you've owned the house, if you owned the house more than 2.5 years, it starts being to your advantage more and more each month. And we talked about that yesterday. Today, I want to look at less technical and more emotional strategies for preventing people from quitting deals, keeping people in deals, maybe getting more people to make deals, and certainly getting more referrals. So, the situation is the one where a buyer had an offer accepted and wants to buy, has had an offer accepted and wants to buy, and you want to be sure they stay committed until closing. So we're not talking about getting people, convincing people to buy, although this is a different conversation. This is once somebody's bought, they're going through their house inspections, they're going through appraisal, they're waiting for the mortgage to be committed. This is once the people have made, even while they're in attorney approval, the contracts are being developed. This is a situation where the buyer has taken action that they want to buy the house. They've made an offer, had that offer accepted, and you want to be sure that they stay committed until closing. Now, just before we start, some words of caution. What you're about to learn are the strategies of the agents who have the most loyal clients. Obviously, if they have the most loyal clients, they're the agents that get the most referrals. This is the secret stuff that agents don't talk about. And you've never heard me really say that before, or certainly not often. Maybe never, because I don't talk about the secret stuff. This is invisible. You'll see what I mean by that. You will often see and hear the word subtlety in what I'm about to do today, because you will need to be subtle. You have to overcome some feelings that you might get caught being insincere with what I'm going to tell you today. So always be honest and sincere. Don't do this insincerely. When you are honest and sincere, you have nothing to worry about. So let's get into it. Why do buyers most often quit deals? Why do buyers quit the transaction? Well, most often it's because they get information that makes them question their decision. They see a house, they want the house, they make an offer, they're excited, and then they get some information that makes them question their decision. It may be from media. They may hear a podcast about how awful the real estate market is, how high the interest rates are, about who knows what, the economy, inflation, house prices, whatever it is. They hear a podcast, and all of a sudden they get information that makes them question their decision. Or news sites, Fox News, MSNBC, whatever news sites they may go to if they watch news. Or they're just on social media and they start mentioning buying or selling a house. They show some pictures and all of a sudden they start getting feedback, okay, and seeing ads and all kinds of other articles being fed into their social media feeds. So that's where they may get that information. They may speak to relatives and friends. They speak to a relative who tells them, oh, it's a terrible time to buy a house. Interest rates. You tell them a terrible story. House prices are going down. You may talk to friends who tell them the same thing because friends, for whatever reason, don't understand the value of home ownership. They may speak to other real estate agents, other people they've interviewed, people they run into at a party or at a park. Sometimes those friends and relatives who are not supporting their decision are agents or no agents. Talk to my agent. And other agents and lenders who are not involved in this, transaction, don't have a vested interest, and they will often, unfortunately, try to hurt your deal. They will say things to the people that make them think they should not buy from you and buy from them, not finance with your lender, but finance with them. My point is, their world is filled with people who may not be talking in a supportive way. And if those voices are louder than yours, either the people are closer to them, or you're not saying things that reinforce their decision, and others people are saying things that cause them to question their decision. I'm going to repeat that. Those voices are louder because you are not saying things that reinforce their decision. Again, you are not saying things that reinforce their decision, and others are saying things to question their decision. And then you and your deal are more vulnerable. So how do you make your voice louder? Not by raising your voice. How do you make your voice louder? In quotation marks. I'm going to use a bunch of quotation marks. Number 1, I have 8 things. Find out what's important to them and keep reinforcing it with subtlety. There's that word, subtlety. So what's important to them? What's important to them is to stop paying rent, get out of their apartment. Get out of their apartment because it's too small. So what you might say to them is, wow, you're speaking to them, you're calling them, they're calling you, answering a question, then just randomly, that's what's subtle, you say to them, by the way, I was just thinking about you guys. It's going to be a pleasure, I'll bet, to be in that big space instead of the apartment that you guys are in. Or, I was thinking about you in that yard. It's really, really nice to have your children finally, I know you were talking about buying that play set. Be nice to have that right in your backyard. Sweet. So you find out what's important to them and you keep reinforcing the positives of it offhand with subtlety. See, that's where you make, they'll think I'm insincere. Well, then be insincere. Tell them the truth. Just tell them something that you know they know, that you know they feel good about, and make them feel good. That's how you make your voice louder than people who will cause them to question that decision. Early on, ask what, not once their offer is accepted. Not once their offer is accepted. Early on, when you first start meeting with them, what concerns, if any, do you have about buying or buying now? So they can tell you if the interest rates concern them, or they can tell you if house prices concern them, or if they can tell you that making the payments concern them, or if they can tell you not knowing the neighbor, whatever they tell you, you need to understand what those concerns are and then disempower those concerns. Address them. Help them feel, if they're saying the interest rates, explain that they can refinance. Explain that when rates go down, prices go up because there's even more demand. We talked about this yesterday. If they're concerned about prices going down, explain to them there's so little, so if they're in a $2 million price range, that may be the case. But in modest and good price ranges, there are far more buyers in inventory, and it's going to be a while before the prices are going to come down. They're going to keep being driven up by the demand. And then continue to disempower those concerns. Continue to disempower the things that concern them because you found out early. Number 3, find out and remember what they like most about the house, about the neighborhood. Gosh, it's going to be nice to live near your parents, I'll bet. I know I've moved a lot of people into Tom's River. And I've never had anybody be anything but delighted that they're there. Have you found the shopping over at such and such? So find out and remember what they like most about the house, about the neighborhood, and then reinforce those things with subtlety. Like I just said to you about the size of the house, the space, the yard. Wow. For some reason today, that kitchen came to my mind. That's a gorgeous kitchen. Honestly, I thought, I wasn't sure you'd be able to find something that, how do you guys feel about it? You know what I'm talking about? I go, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. So reinforce the things they like most, and then keep reinforcing them with subtlety, so that many of the conversations you have with them, in fact, I say this next, in passing, with subtlety, mention the wisdom of buying now, mention the things that they like, and then stay in touch. Be in touch with them regularly, at least once a week, letting them know what's going on. And in many of those conversations, mention the things they like, the wisdom of buying now. Make your voice louder, not because you're raising your voice, but because you're saying positive things that touch them emotionally, that reinforce their decision. Stay in touch regularly and reinforce their positives, and respond quickly. If they heard a podcast, if they talk to a friend, they talk to another agent, and they have a concern and they call you, and you don't call them back for a day or two or a week, you are you're both losing your credibility, and you're causing them to question your loyalty to them, your commitment to them. Are you only in it for the money? When you have somebody pending, respond quickly. Respond quickly. And as you speak to them in any situation, remember, this is after they have an offer accepted. Listen for any change in attitude. They're a little less excited. There's a little concern in their voice. If you hear it, probe it, which means question it. Find out, if you can, who they're talking to. Where is this thinking coming from? What are they listening to? So that you can really address what's going on and strengthen your voice and make it louder than those other voices. And in those conversations, all the ones we've talked about in this piece, in this webinar, in all those conversations, emphasize the things they like most. Emphasize the wisdom of buying now. Emphasize any other positives, and always do it with subtlety and intelligence. I've given this advice to many, many, many agents in my coaching. Too often, somebody will lose a deal or lose a series of deals, and I'll ask them if they had begun to do this or not. And they will tell me no, they never felt comfortable doing it. I say that's costing you now, and it's likely to continue to cost you. So you want to begin doing this now. Get comfortable doing it. It may feel a little uncomfortable at first, but I promise you it's the right thing to do. It's an honest thing to do. Say, but Rich, you're just making them feel good. Yes, because there may be some other people making them feel bad, and you need to put up a defense against that. So, thinking some analogies, we won't talk about them, but this is a very important message. When I talk to agents, I coach making $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 a year, $1 million or more a year. I promise you, every one of them employs this. And when I mention it to them, they laugh. They say, Rich, I forgot that I even do that. But of course. So wherever you are in your career, beginning, middle, or highly successful, this is something you want to begin to take on and build absolutely into the soul of your business. Just click on the link below. I'd look forward to speaking with you.